Hello, my name is Armin Korak. This is a presentation on the math course titled Math 180. My experiences with the good and bad, and just what I thought of the class. Um, what is Math 180? So, Math 180 is a intro level calculus class where it really focuses on the reinforcement of your algebra skills from high school. Uh, you're gonna hear Dr. Ryan Luke say a lot that you can't do calculus without a solid base of algebra. And it's the first part of the class. You'll be really focusing on making sure you have those needed algebraic skills that are at the college level to be able to do calculus. Um, if you've taken an AP calculus class in high school, like AP Calc AB. This class is really similar to that. I might even go as far as saying it's a little easier just because of how it's structured. Um, it's a business focused calculus class, so you're not going to be doing engineering calculus. You're not going to be doing that. It's just the mere basics that will get you through a business degree. So think price functions, cost functions, etc. Like I said, it covers the basics of calculus. This would be derivative, product, quotient rule, etc. Uh, I have here the like sort of like I guess lesson plan that like this is roughly the timeline that you'll learn things in order. So you're gonna start off with learning about limits, what they are, their points, how to use them, etc. like that. And you're gonna move on to continuity. Again, that's more of a limit thing, but it's also very important that you know. You'll move on to the derivative, what it is, how to use it, where to go from after getting it, stuff like that. Then more differentiation stuff, differentials. Then you're gonna move on to some business focused stuff. So, like I said, cost functions, price functions, the derivatives of those functions, how to use them, what they mean in the business context, stuff like that. Then what E is, how to use it, derivatives of exponential and logarithmic functions, the rules that apply to doing that. So stuff like how to find the derivative of a natural log, an exponent, etc. And the product rule and quotient rule. I'm pretty sure we learned this before exponentials and logarithmic functions. So this will go a little bit before. The chain rule, very important. Learn that later on. And then finally ending off with implicit differentiation and related rates. At the time of me taking this class and recording this video, I there was one exam. Uh, it really covers these first four lessons, so limits and the derivative, like basic derivatives. What's a derivative of 3x, 3x squared, stuff like that. It's mostly focused on limits, though. We have a final project and a presentation. The final project is looking at a business firm, and you're given two equations. You're trying to find out, analyze them, and find out key things and answer some questions asked. And this is the presentation I'm doing for this class. Basically, okay, so I attended this class 3 times a week, 50 minutes. It's a fairly large class, 70, 80 people, if everyone's there and didn't skip. Classes are really group work based and you talking a lot with your group mates. figuring things out, how to solve them, etc., stuff like that. And then you're going to be talking. The last part of class will be discussion focused, where Dr. Ryan Luke and Dr. Chastain work together and they try to answer some questions we have. And yeah, some helpful resources I had used were Desmos and Mathway. Um, I use Desmos for checking the graphs of equations so I could visualize things, see important points. I also used Mathway for checking my work. So sometimes I was unsure of something, if I was going the right direction, but I didn't really want to ask, Dr. Ryan Luke or a teacher, so I just wanted to check on my own. Um, and yeah, that was helpful. It just showed me if the work was right. And homework, you can use a software called MyLab. I'm gonna tell you some things I liked about it and some things I didn't like about it. So MyLab is really helpful in regards to teaching you. It's uh sorry. It's in the lessons that you're gonna learn on MyLab, there's a lot of resources within it, like uh I don't know. There's it, it has stuff like working solutions out step by step, getting hints, things like that. Um, there's videos that are really helpful. It basically teaches you this like subject that you're trying to learn really well, and I really like that a lot. I liked how it was really thorough. Um, you covered a lot of points, most of the points, and yeah. And some things I did not like were, if you want to get an answer on MyLab right, you have to pretty much be exact on the formatting. So if you're like, I don't know, a space off, or you put like one more plus sign on accident, you're getting the question wrong. And I really didn't like that. But that's more of a software thing, human error thing, than a MyLab fault. Um, I did not like how the MyLab was paced throughout the course, meaning we learned stuff at the wrong times on MyLab. So we would be learning the chain rule, or like I remember not the chain rule, sorry. We'd be learning exponents, like how to find the derivatives of logarithmic stuff when we're learning about the product rule in class. But those were my only two like real gripes with the software. It's pretty good. OneNote is what you're going to be using every day in class. There's daily class warm-ups that you're going to work with your group. They're not that bad. They're pretty light. And assignments, just like what you're going to do after the warm-ups and assignments. Sorry, assignments you're going to do after the warm-ups. It's almost entirely group work. I think very rarely in this class are you working by yourself. I mean, you can work by yourself. It's just easier if you have a couple more brains working at it. And it's mostly focused on two folders, your classwork and the notes. I really only use classwork just for the warm-ups and assignments, and notes is for if you want to take notes in class, which by all means, if you're into that, go for it. Um, I had some issues with OneNote. I didn't really like the way it was set up for this class. Classwork and notes aren't the only two folders on your OneNote. There's a couple other folders that I just never used and they were never mentioned in the class, and it's really vague on where you turn in your stuff because instead of I did it separately than what they asked for. They wanted us to turn it in a photo of each day's work in the lesson, but I figured that was pretty redundant, so I just grouped all my assignments in one place. So that was it's sort of vague how to turn in your stuff, but yeah. Um, I want to warn you, this class has some unusual answers to some questions. If you're not used to getting multiple right answers to the same question, then you better get used to it for this class because there's a lot of that. Uh, they, these questions are really multi-ended, so it could go either way. I want to assure you that getting a different answer from someone does not mean that you're wrong, and you should be confident in your answers because it's probably right, and you and your buddy old pal next to you is also right. So don't freak out. That's all I have to say about that. General improvements I would say for the class is more structure, just more structure. I often went in a class not knowing what we were gonna do, what was going on. That's it. Clear cut deadlines. I really didn't like how the homework deadlines were switching very often. Um, yeah, I really railroad class is going back to more structure. This should I like sort of how it was kind of a flowy class, like you just went with the flow. But sometimes really wish it was more structured and railroaded so we could know where we're headed. More use of in-classroom resources. I in my high school I worked with whiteboards a lot in math classes, so like getting up with your group, figuring it out, your teacher walking around. I really like that stuff, and I really wish we used more of this. And shorter warm ups. Sometimes the warm ups we did in class took up a long time, and we didn't have much time for discussion in the end. And I really didn't like that. So shorter warm ups would have been awesome. And that's Math 180 for you. I hope this made sense. And yeah, thank you.